Okay, in this next section we're going to be looking at 3 licks in the style of Dimebag Darrell. Here's the first lick. Okay, for the first part of this lick, we're going to start with a downstroke on the 15th fret on the B string. Then we're going to have an upstroke on 11 on the high E. Then hammer on 12 to 15, pull off to 12, pull off to 11 on the high E, and then start the lick all over again. So at a slow tempo, we've got this. So you just literally get used to sort of like rolling the fingers up and down. And that's literally the technique we're going to be using for each of the position shifts for this first lick. So again. Then the next position, using exactly the same technique, starting with a downstroke on the 17th fret on the B string. Then we've got an upstroke on 12 on the high E. Hammer on 15, hammer on 17, pull off to 15, pull off to 12 on the high E, and then start again. Okay, so when you combine those two, you've got this. Okay, then move up to the next position, exactly the same technique with the right hand and the left hand again. With a downstroke, we're starting on the 19th fret on the B string, upstroke on 15 on the high E, then we're hammering on 17, 19, pull off to 17, pull off to 15 on the high E, and then start the lick again, so we've got this. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is a slightly different technique. We're just going to play from the 19th fret on the high using alternate picking. We've got 19, 22, 24, 22, 19, and we're just going to have. So starting with a downstroke, but as you speed that lick up, it feels like you're almost just tremolo picking the high E string, and as you're doing that, you're literally just rolling your fingers up from 19, 22, 24, back to 22, back to 19. So at a slow tempo, it may sound like this. But then if you speed it up, it's going to sound more like this. So, you know, it sounds incredibly fast, but if you kind of, you know, make the technique seem basic by just literally alternate picking or tremolo picking the high E string and then just literally putting your fingers on the frets, you know, you pretty much should be able to get it. Okay, so at a slow tempo, all of those parts to make up the first lick should sound like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is play that first lick over the backing track so you can hear how it sounds. So here it is. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Dimebag lick number 2. Okay, to start off this lick, we're going to bar across the 14th fret on the G and the B string, and we're going to bend both those up and then let them down again. So that's what you're doing, literally just barring, picking both those notes, bending them up, letting them down again, and then possibly add some vibrato as well. Okay, for the run that follows that, we're going to start on the 11th fret on the low E string, starting with a downstroke with the right hand and using alternate picking. We're going to play 11, 12, 15 on the low E once. Then we're going to play 11, 12, 15 on the A twice. on the D twice, on the G twice, and on the B twice. Then we're going to have 11, 12, 15, 12, 11 on the high E. Then we're going to have 15, 12, 11 on the B. Then 14 to 12 up to 14 on the G again. Okay, so the whole lick slow should sound like this. Okay, now let's hear that lick over the backing track. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Dimebag lick number 3. Here it is. Okay, we're going to slide into the 14th fret on the high E string, then pull off to the 10th fret on the high E, and then hammer on 12 on the B. Then we're going to slide up from 14 to 15 on the high E, pull off to 12 on the high E, and then hammer on 13 on the B string. So we've got... Then slide up from 15 to 17 on the high E, pull off to 14 on the high E, and then hammer on 15 on the B. So we've got... Then we've got 17, slide up to 19 on the high E, pull off to 15 on the high E, hammer on 17 on the B. So... Then we're going to slide from 19 up to 22 on the high E, pull off to 19 on the high E string, and then hammer on 20 on the B. Then we're going to bend up the 22nd fret on the high E string a whole step. Then when we get it up to the top, add the B string in there as well, and then play an upstroke so you can get both notes in together. Okay, so the whole lick slow should sound like this. Okay, now let's hear that with the backing track. Okay, now let's hear all 3 licks back to back over the backing track just to see how they all connect together. So here we go. Okay, well that's all we've got time for in week number 3. Hopefully now you can start to see a little bit more improvement in your shredding capabilities. And like I said in the last 2 DVDs, just take everything that we've looked at and break it down slow. And then once you get, relatively comfortable with it, then start to practice over the backing tracks. And the 3 licks in the style of each guitar player, they're quite fun as well, and throw them into some of the ideas that we've looked at. And hopefully, you can start to use these licks in your own playing. Okay, well hopefully I'll see you in week number 4. Until then, I'll see you later.